Little Miss Fickle by Roger Hargreaves. Would you like me to tell you a story? If you were Little Miss Fickle, you'd say, "Yes, please." And then you'd say, "No, thank you." And then you'd say, "Yes," again. Little Miss Fickle was one of those people who just could not make up their minds, ever, about anything. Little Miss Fickle lived in Dandelion Cottage, which was on the outskirts of Sunnytown, and she lived right next door to her best friend, Little Miss Neat, who lived in Two-Pin Cottage. One Monday, Little Miss Fickle and Little Miss Neat went out to lunch in Sunnytown. "I'll have the soup to start with," said Little Miss Neat to the waiter as she looked at the menu, "followed by the fish." "So will I," said Little Miss Fickle. But after the waiter had written down the order, Little Miss Fickle looked at the menu again. "No, I won't," she said. "I'll have the salad instead, followed by the roast chicken." The waiter crossed out the first order and wrote down the second. "On the other hand," continued Little Miss Fickle, "I won't have anything to start with, but then I'll have the eggs." The waiter sighed. An hour later, after the waiter had worn out 3 pencils and 4 order pads, Little Miss Fickle finally made up her mind to have the soup followed by the fish. The waiter brought the soup. Little Miss Fickle looked at it. "I'm not hungry anymore," she said. It was at that moment that the waiter decided he was going to be a bus driver instead of a waiter. On Tuesday, Little Miss Fickle went to buy a hat. "I want a new pink hat," she announced to the milliner. The milliner brought her 2 pink hats to choose from. "I'll have this one," said Little Miss Fickle after she had tried them both on. "Certainly, madam," replied the milliner and put the hat in a hat box. "On the other hand," said Little Miss Fickle, "I think I'll have the other hat." The milliner took the first hat out of the hat box, and then she put the second hat into the hat box. "But," continued Little Miss Fickle, "I think the first hat suited me better, don't you?" The milliner didn't say a word as she took the second hat out of the hat box and then put the first hat back into the hat box. She handed the hat box to Little Miss Fickle. Little Miss Fickle looked at the milliner. "Do you have any blue hats?" she asked. It was at that moment that the milliner decided she was going to be a ballerina instead of a milliner.